Hey everyone, welcome back to Wealth Finance 61. Let's get into it.
To understand modern geopolitics, you first need to understand one powerful idea: the global role of the US dollar. Why does the dollar dominate global trade? Why do US sanctions have such massive impact? Why don't sanctions from smaller countries shake the world in the same way? Let's break this down in very simple terms. Thousands of years ago, there was no money. People relied on barter, exchanging goods directly. You had rice and needed vegetables, you traded. This worked in small communities, but it had serious limitations. Goods spoil. Value is hard to measure. Large-scale trade becomes nearly impossible. The solution came in the form of precious metals, gold and silver. They didn't spoil, were widely valued, and could store wealth. Eventually, societies minted coins, making trade easier. But coins created another problem: weight and security. Transporting large amounts of gold was risky and inconvenient. So merchants and early financial systems developed paper claims. Instead of carrying gold, you deposited it and received a note promising redemption. These notes gradually evolved into modern currency. For a long time, many countries operated under the gold standard. Currency had direct backing in gold. Governments could only print money proportional to their reserves. This system shaped global trade for centuries. In the 19th and early 20th centuries, Britain's economy was dominant. The British pound became widely used in international trade. Confidence in Britain's financial stability supported global trust in its currency. Then came the World Wars. These conflicts devastated Europe's economies and drained gold reserves. Meanwhile, the United States emerged economically stronger, with expanding industrial capacity and large gold holdings. In 1944, as World War II neared its end, nations met to redesign the global financial system. The result was the Bretton Woods framework. Under this system, the US dollar was linked to gold at a fixed rate. Other currencies were linked to the dollar. Global institutions were created to stabilize finance and provide reconstruction funding. This arrangement made the dollar central to global trade and reserves. Countries could settle international transactions using dollars rather than constantly moving gold. Over time, this created network effects. The more the dollar was used, the more useful and trusted it became. In 1971, the system changed dramatically. The United States ended the dollar's direct convertibility into gold. From that point forward, the dollar became a fiat currency, backed not by gold, but by confidence in the US economy, government, and financial system. Why did the dollar remain dominant even after gold backing ended? Several reasons. First, global trade was already deeply integrated with the dollar. Second, US financial markets were large, liquid, and stable. Third, key commodities, especially oil, were priced globally in dollars. When critical resources are traded in a currency, global demand for that currency rises. Countries need it to buy essential goods. This helps explain the concept often called the petrodollar system. When exporters price commodities in dollars, importers must acquire dollars, reinforcing its global role. Now let's talk about sanctions. US sanctions are powerful not merely because of military strength, but because of financial infrastructure. Much of the world's trade, banking, and settlement systems operate through dollar-linked mechanisms. When access to these systems is restricted, a country can face severe disruption, difficulty conducting international payments, reduced investment flows, currency pressure, trade complications. This is why financial restrictions can have immediate economic consequences. Why don't sanctions from smaller countries carry similar weight? Because global dependency matters. The influence of sanctions depends on how central the issuing country is to global finance, trade, and capital flows. The United States plays a uniquely large role in these networks. However, global finance is not static. In recent years, countries have explored ways to diversify currency usage, reduce risk exposure, and increase regional financial cooperation. These efforts reflect long-term economic strategy, not sudden shifts. The dollar's dominance rests on deep structural foundations built over decades. So the key takeaway is this: the global role of the US dollar is rooted in history, trade patterns, financial market depth, and institutional trust. Its influence shapes everything from commodity pricing to international sanctions. Understanding this system helps explain why economic policy often drives geopolitical outcomes. Because in the modern world, financial power is inseparable from global influence.
Alright, that's wrap for today. Thanks for watching Wealth Finance 61.